So I started 2025 thinking about what um what it would look like if we just shamelessly copied biology, right? Without too much care, without being too smart. And we built AI systems that were just copying biology. And after a couple of readings and experimentation, this made me thinking about what would really define my 2026 or what I would like to define my 2026. And three things come to mind. The first one is that disability should no longer exist. And when you really think about it, if I get into an accident and lose my arm or my leg, the quality of my life significantly reduces. And this is in 2025 when we've done a lot more, like humanity, we've done a lot more seemingly genius things than that. I know I'm naively underestimating what it takes to solve this, but I still think we should have done this right. Like if I lose my arm, I should be able to easily just get an artificial arm and put it on, and maybe I'm even better off for it because I now have an advanced arm. Or if I lose my ear, I should just attach it. I know that there are some like that around. There are a lot of artificial limbs, but it should have been so mainstream that there should be almost no disability. And when you think about what the glasses have done, about maybe 50% of people use glasses, but there are a lot of eye defects we don't even consider disabilities anymore. Like no one is like saying, "Oh, I have an eye defect, I have astigmatism, and that's affecting the quality of my life." Um, Maybe some extreme version of it, but for most people, they just use glasses to correct most of the eye defect, and they don't even consider it as defect anymore. And I think, yeah, disability should not exist basically. We should get to a point where we've either eliminated all forms of disabilities or augmented human abilities with artificial systems, artificial limbs. Yeah, so that's the first point. Disability should no longer exist. The second point is that AI will be the technological shift that would enable this. And I know I might be late to the party, but right now we have neural networks predicting and pattern matching systems that would have required millions of years of classical compute to do, or even complex calculation. If you look at the potent synthesis that AlphaFold is doing right now, if you were to do it classically before, you would have had to account for so many variables, done a lot of logics, if else, maths, and even at that, we are very slow in generating proteins, in creating proteins. And now we can just generate hundreds of millions of proteins very easily using AlphaFold. Then Sasabi's got the Nobel Prize for that in 2025. And if you also look at VO3, for example, the video generation model, which is so very early, by the way, video generation is like 2 years in, barely 2 years in, I guess. If you look at what the VO3 came up with, VO3, just by watching a lot of videos, is able to simulate physics mechanisms. There was one where the truck was driving into a water and the water splashed, and it got to some extent the physics correctly. Now we are still very early; it only gets better from here. But it tried to get the physics correctly, the physics of the fluid, and these are things that we are still trying to figure out the theory behind it to solve for it. If you had to build a game engine for it, you'd have had to manually and painstakingly write all the code, and AI just seems to understand it. So I'm not saying that AI would necessarily be the guy that will give us the limb. Like I lose my arm and AI will just give me a limb, or some AGI. No, I'm not talking about AGI in this case. I'm just talking about our knowledge of, or yeah, the fact that we know that AI or these neural networks can predict systems rather than computing it. We can use this as the base of now understanding biology at a level we could not before. And once we understand that biology, we can now abstract. We don't need to, we will still strive to understand the underlying principle, but we can also now abstract and now build on top of biology as a platform. And then we can eliminate all forms of disabilities. Right. So rather than computing the output, because biology, one of the reasons biology is very difficult is because one, we don't have enough data, and two, there are just so many variables going on in the human body, in the brain, in this at the cellular level. There are so many variables that determines what goes on. But now we don't have to understand every single variable. We can just abstract it and build on top of it by predicting and pattern matching. And by understanding biology, like I said earlier, we eliminate all forms of disabilities. Yeah. So the first point, disability should no longer exist. Second point, AI is a technical shift that would enable this. And the third point is on robotics. And robotics, because one, I need a way to fund my expensive curiosities, and I need to create things, and robotics is one of the interesting ways to do it. But also working on robots with a consciousness of biology in mind understand helps me understand better how biology works, right? How robotics and biology works in this case. And I can do a lot more experiment practically, both in the software sense of things and also in the hardware using the robotics. So I'm starting a new project, Anthrop, with the goal of shamelessly building bio-inspired robots, from simple tabletop robots just sitting on your desk to complex life-size pets like a penguin, a parrot, a rabbit. I'll just come up with some very interesting robots, life-sized. And yeah, like I said, I need this to fund my I would sell some very plain, simple tabletop robots, use it to fund some of these experiments while we're also building some very large, complex things. So that's first project. And the second project is a video series, Biotech with Demi, where I periodically just take the latest advancement or the latest paper in biology and I share it with you guys, just reiterate and share with you guys. And the purpose of this is just for me to also even immerse myself in this world to understand better what's going on and to create a system around it, right? I'm a novice to most of this. I have very little expertise. I'm very naive. Uh, and I hope that by doing this, I get better clarity and understanding of what biology, robotics, and AI entails, and also get to attract some of the most intelligent people in the space to have conversations with them. So yeah, thank you.